Welcome back to Pokemon Tabletop Reimagined, a Pokemon Tabletop RPG system designed by me that aims to be easy to play, easy to understand, and easy to run, as well as fulfilling your Pokemon trainer fantasies. Today we're going to be diving right back into the trainer classes with the Scientist or Researcher class. If you're a fan of crafting things or gathering key information during combat, this is the class for you. If you're familiar with classes like the Artificer from D&D, this class will appeal to you. The Scientist class is going to have 8 HP to start with, is going to get an extra point to their special attack, an extra point to their defense, a point taken away from their attack, and a point taken away from their special defense. In terms of skill advantages, we have 3 things here. We got Investigation, Machine Operation, and Pokemon Knowledge. A pretty wide variety of skills, allowing you to find different clues, hack into computers, and get some key information about Pokemon in and out of combat. At level 1, you get the Item Smithy ability, which is one of the main features of the class, where during long rests, you're able to choose to craft one of the following sets of items from the list below. I'm not going to go over the full list here in detail. I'm going to put it on the screen for you right now, so you can go ahead and take a look at it yourself. But yeah, you can make stuff like Pokeballs, potions, buffing items, and whatnot. Just a ton of utility items that you normally would have to buy. You can craft them during long rests instead. At level 2, you get the ability Anticipation, where at the start of the battle, you automatically become aware of the single strongest attack that each enemy Pokemon has in their moveset. So if the enemy Pokemon have Ember, Fire Blast, and Flamethrower in their moveset, you know that they have Fire Blast. You become aware of it immediately, what it is, the effects of the attack, everything. You'll also be able to know if any enemy Pokemon have a move that's super effective against your active Pokemon. So if you're using an electric type and your enemy is packing a ground type move, you'll be aware that they do have a ground type move in order to counter you. However, you won't be able to know exactly what that move is. You just know that they have a move that is super effective against you. So yeah, this ability gives you a lot of information on your enemies that you can use during combat to gain the upper hand. It lets you maybe prioritize different targets, maybe ignoring the targets that have weaker moves or don't have a super effective move, and prioritizing the targets that do have those strong moves and super effective moves instead. At this level, of course, you also gain 2 stat points to allocate to any non-HP trainer stats you would like, and you gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP. At level 3, you get another information gathering ability with Super Nerd. As a bonus action, you can reveal all of the stats, including HP, bonuses, effect DC, and ability of a Pokemon within 60 feet of you. This basically allows you to see the entire stat block of a Pokemon, including their ability. The Ace Trainer has a similar ability to this with Vitality Sense, but that only allows you to see HP. This goes a step further, allows you to see everything about that Pokemon. It can't be understated how useful this ability is in team play for the rest of your party. This just synergizes with everyone. You reveal the stats of the Pokemon, your teammates can follow up on that and make combat decisions based on the stats and abilities you have revealed to them. Of course, you also gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP at this level. At level 4, you get the ability Item Engineer. It's an upgrade to the Item Smithy ability that allows you to craft one of the items from the Item Smithy ability during a short rest instead of a long rest, but in addition, you can also now craft one of the following items from this list below during a long rest. Again, not going to go over all the items in detail. If you want to know what each of the items do specifically, we're going to have a video on that on a later date, or you can check in the description below to get into the documentation. But right now, you can just tell that there's some upgrades in this list, like the Great Balls, the Super Potions, some other utility items and whatnot, and the Super Revive. I think this is where you fully come online as a class, because combined with Item Smithy, every rest, short or long, you're going to be creating items that normally would cost you resources and money for your party, so you can just start pumping out items and handing them out to all your party members. Of course, you also gain 2 stat points to allocate to any non-HP trainer stats, and you gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP. At level 5, you're going to go a little more on the offensive with the Analytical ability, where your Pokemon will land a critical hit on a natural roll of 19 against another Pokemon who has already been analyzed by the Super Nerd ability. So this synergizes really well with the Super Nerd ability. Not only are you revealing all the stats for you and your team as support, but you're also gaining an increased critical hit rate against that Pokemon. Of course, at this level, you also gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP. At level 6, you're going to get the ability Fast Worker, and now this is where you start getting really powerful in combat. You can use one item as a free action during your turn. This is an extremely powerful ability. Normally, items cost a bonus action, so essentially with this, you're able to use up to 2 items per turn. Combine this with the crafted items from our previous abilities, and you can set up some devastating combinations. This is where you can set things up combined with the item smithy ability, creating those buffing items like X attacks, X defends, X speeds. You can give yourself a free stat boost or an adjacent ally a free stat boost as a free action during your turn essentially, which is really, really huge. This is going to be where you play a major support role during combat. And stat boosts aren't where this ends. This applies to every item, so you can almost be a sort of a pseudo healer of the group using super potions, revives, and all that, all as a free action instead of a bonus action. Of course, at this level, you also gain 2 stat points to allocate to any non-HP trainer stats you would like, and 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP. At level 7, we get another combat-focused ability with the Laser Focus ability. With this ability, the first attack that you make against a target who has been analyzed by the Super Nerd ability will be a guaranteed hit. So not only does the Super Nerd ability reveal their stats to you and your allies, it also gives you an increased critical hit rate against them, and gives you 1 guaranteed hit against them as well. This just improves your offenses and really encourages the use of Super Nerd a lot during combat. You also gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP at this level. And at level 8, we have our final item crafting ability with Item Artisan. Now you can craft up to 2 sets of items from either the Item Smithy ability or the Item Engineer ability lists during a short rest. But that's not all, because in addition, you can now craft one of the following items from the list below during a long rest. And this list has some of the best items in the game: Ultra Balls, Hyper Potions, Max Revives, you name it. And it also has a very important item called Infinity Energy Essence, and that ties into the teachable moves that we've talked about in previous videos. To touch on it briefly, teachable moves are moves that you can slot into your Pokemon's moveset that have disadvantage when your Pokemon uses them. They're not very easy to use, but they often are the most versatile moves that your Pokemon can learn. However, once you successfully use one of these teachable moves 10 times, your Pokemon will be able to use them without incurring any sort of penalty at all. Infinity Energy Essence almost bypasses this process. This item allows you to learn a move from your teachable moves list instantly without having to use that move 10 times to properly learn it. So having a scientist or researcher class in your group means that your Pokemon are going to have a much wider variety of moves to pick from much faster than other parties. Of course, you also gain 2 stat points to allocate to any non-HP stats for your trainer, and you gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP at this level. At level 9, your penultimate ability is Hyper Analytical. Hyper Analytical is an upgrade to the Analytical ability, where your Pokemon will now land critical hits on a natural roll of 18 against another Pokemon who has been analyzed by the Super Nerd ability previously. This just increases your critical hit rate even further against targets that you have already analyzed with the Super Nerd ability, but that is not all, because additionally, you can use an additional item as a free action during your turn whenever you land a critical hit. So not only do you get 1 free action item from the Fast Worker ability, but if you land a critical hit during your turn, you get an additional free action item, which can really let you snowball quickly. And of course, you gain 1d8 trainer HP added to your max HP at this level as well. And that about wraps it up for the scientist or researcher class. This class is heavily focused on self and team support by crafting items and analyzing opponents, learning their moves and stats. Again, this is one of those classes where if you really like team play and support and you want to be the guy that everyone thinks is invaluable to the party, pick this class. You're going to be able to hand out potions, heal people, buff people, and know all the stats of the enemy Pokemon, making combat a lot more tactical and making your decisions a lot more easier within combat. So yeah, thank you for watching this video on the Scientist or Researcher class. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns on the class, please feel free to comment down below. I would love to read it. And if you want to see the class for yourself and get into the documentation about the game, it's going to be in the link in the description below. Go check it out. Next time, we're going to be going more into a full support role with the nurse or doctor class, which is going to be focused on healing mainly, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching again, and goodbye.